Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will learn about the flexible search. In today's agenda, we will go through the overview of flexible search, what is the syntax, how we can use different operations in flexible search, how we run it, and we'll see some examples, how we can directly run the flexible search through HAC, and if we have to use it in the code, then how we can do that. So we'll cover all those details in today's video. Flexible search is a Hybris built-in query language. It is based on SQL syntax. So how we write query in SQL, in the same fashion we have to write the flexible search. But there will be a little bit of modification that we will see when we do the hands-on. Also, this flexible search gives us the feasibility to search the records from the database using the item types. So as we are aware of in SQL, we do the query on the table name, right? But in case of flexible search, we do the query on the item types. Here we never use the table names. So as in the previous video, we had shown when we cover the data modeling, right? That in the attributes where we give search is equal to true, or by default the value of the modifier is search is equal to true. So in whichever attribute the value of the search will remain true, that attributes we can search using this flexible search. If you have not yet watched the video related to the data modeling, then link is present in the description box, and also in the top right section of your screen you are seeing the same. So it basically abstracts the database query into Hybris item type query, and the return type of the flexible query is always a Hybris items, right? Now, whenever we run the flexible search query, it is translated into native SQL statements at the time of execution. So we can say that flexible search execution has two phases. One is pre-parsing phase, where in this phase, Hybris converts the flexible search query into SQL query, and then the second phase comes where the execution of the SQL converted query happens. So in the first phase, whatever the converted query, SQL query happens, so that will be executed by Hybris. So all these flexible query execution will happen in two phases. Keep that in mind, right? And we will see in the soon we will see when we do the hands-on, we'll see what I meant by this statement. And it allows nearly every feature of SQL select statements. Like you can do the join in flexible search, right? You can do the count statement, you can do the max, you can do the main. Whenever we do the query in flexible search, it gets cached in a region cache. So I'll create a separate video in which I will explain in detail about the caches in Hybris. So at that time we will check. But for this video, we just have to keep in mind that whenever we are doing any flexible search query, then it gets cached for some time, whatever we will define in the region cache. Whatever time to live we define in the region cache, for the same period of time it gets cached, right? And also we'll check in the flexible search that how we can create a query if we do not want to cache. So if there is such requirement that you do not want to cache particular query, then how we can do that. So that part also we'll check in this particular video. Now before doing the hands-on session on flexible search, let us first understand the syntax. So we write in this session select from types, then we define the where conditions, and then if there is any order by, then we can define that. Here the thing selects which we are seeing inside the bracket. Here it gets replaced by a star. Like if you want to fetch every record which is present in any item type, say a product item type, then you can simply write select a star from type, right? If you just want to fetch few attributes related to some product table like code, description. So in the curly braces, you can write select code, comma, description from products, right? So this is the basic syntax. It is very similar to SQL, where instead of types, you simply give the table name. Now, the mandatory part in the basic syntax, the mandatory part is the select from types, right? So this is the basic part, and it is a mandatory. In the optional, you can provide the conditions, like if you want to fetch some specific uh, product details, right? Like you can fetch select star from product where code is equal to some, you can provide the code. So in that scenario, we use this where conditions. And order by, if you want to sort the result on some basis, so on that scenario we use order by. Now, related to the SQL commands or keywords that these flexible search supports. So here are the some where we can define the ascending, descending, distinct, and or like, join, concat. We also can define the max, min, count. So all those SQL commands and many more we can use in this flexible search. Some of the commands we will see, we will do the hands-on, and we'll see at the time of hands-on that how we can use these SQL commands in the flexible search. Let's do the hands-on session. So I have opened the Chrome and I'm copying this URL. So when we had set up the Hybris 6.7 version on our local, at that time I have shown you that how to open this. So this is the URL of HAC. By entering this, we can open the HAC. The password is by default admin and IMDA, all in small. Okay, so now the HAC is open. Here we can go to the flexible search. You can go to console and then flexible search. So you will be seeing this flexible search, this screen under local as well, right? Whenever you go to this console and flexible search. Now suppose here our requirement is to fetch the details of products. So we have to write in this flexible search query, select star from product. So product is an item type name. Whenever we have to write the flexible search, we have to give the name of the item type inside this curly braces. And when we click on execute, right? So what I told you, that whenever the execution of this flexible search query happens in two phases. First of all, it gets converted into SQL query. So this tab you are seeing SQL query, if you open it, so at this point, the flexible search query gets converted into SQL query. And here you are saying you have given the name of item type, but inside this SQL query, you can see the name of the table. And when you go to the search, then here is all the records related to the product table. So inside this product item type, right? We have other item types as well which are extending this product item type, right? Say April product variant, or if you have written any your custom product item type which is extending this product item type, then all this information you can see inside this product. So here, if you go analyze this SQL query, what it is doing is it is fetching every detail from the products table, right? Because in the deployment type, we have provided the products, and for our custom or item type, which is extending the product item type, or any other item type which is extending the product item type, in that we have not defined any deployment table. So that we have seen when we when I had created or discussed about the data modeling. So please go through that video if you have not yet. So that will clear most of your doubts, right? And here in the type pk string, we are seeing many like question marks. So here what it is doing, it is basically fetching the details from all related the products, its subtypes, and everything. It is basically fetching the details. So if now you have a requirement that fetch only the code from this product, so instead of star you have to give the code. So code is also present in as an attribute in the item type, right? So if you then click on execute, then there is only a code present, right? And if you check the SQL query, so p underscore code is the name of the column and products is a table name. Now here we have seen that whenever we are typing this, it fetches the record from the sub item types as well. But say our requirement is that only fetches the record that is present only in this product item type and not in its subtypes. Then in that scenario, how we can do it? How we can fetch the details? So after the product, just put exclamation, right? And when then you click on execute, it will be converted into SQL query. And now you are seeing it is here. Previously there were so many question marks, right? But now here it is only one. So this way you can confirm that it is fetching the details only from this product uh, item type, product table, and whatever results you will see, it is only specific to this product item type and not its subtype. Now let us see if we have some localized attribute. Say we have the name, right? And in the name of the product we can provide the name in different locales. Like for English we can provide some other name, for French we can provide some other name, for in Dutch language we can provide some other name. So if there are any localized attribute and some is specific to any locale, you have to fetch the detail. Then how you can do that? So for that, if the name say is localized attribute and in whichever locale you have to fetch its name, say you have to fetch the name in English locale, then inside this bracket just pass the locale and you will get the detail. So now if I'll click on execute, so here you can see that the name of the product is fetched and it is all in English. Right now, suppose if you want to fetch the name in any other language as well, say in Germany. So if you click, then now you can see that the name is present in English here, and then the name is present in German language in here, corresponding to the product. So in this fashion, you can fetch the details related to localized attribute. You have to just pass the locale inside this bracket. Now let's say our requirement is that we have to fetch only those products wherein we have cap. In the name of EN of those product, we have cap. So fetch the details of all the products. So in that scenario, we have to write a where condition, right? And in that, we have to search using wildcard. Using this wildcard, we can search. So what this means is that if anywhere in the name, if starting in middle or at the end, anywhere this name comes, the cap, then we have to fetch the code and name of that attributes of that product. So let us execute this command, and now you can see that whatever products is fetched, right here cap is present, even if it is in the middle, in the end, or wherever in the starting, wherever this cap is there in the name, that is fetched. If you have to fetch only that products where we have cap at the end, then just simply remove it and execute. And now you have only those products where the name is cap is at the end in the name, right? But suppose you can change you if suppose if you change the case of this cap, so instead of key C in caps, if you put it in small, then what will happen? So now you have zero result. So for that we have one more SQL function that we can use. So in that scenario, we have to use the lower function of SQL, right? So what we have done is this lower function converts the name of of all the products in lowercase, and then it will compare if cap is present or not. So now if we will execute, so you can see the value is present irrespective of the case. Now, see, our requirement is that we have to fetch all those products whose creation time is more than any particular date. So suppose any product which is created after 2020, right? So we have to fetch the details of all those products. So how we can do that? So in that scenario, we have this to underscore date function in SQL, right? So here we have defined the format of this particular date that we are passing. So it is in the format of YYY, which is in year, then hyphen the month, then hyphen dd, the date, and then the seconds, right? So we have defined the date. So whatever the value we are passing in here, it will be compared first with this format, and then it will be compared with date, because this creation time is of type date, right? So we cannot simply pass any string or something, otherwise it will fail. So in order to compare it with date, we have to use this to underscore date function. Otherwise, let me just show you. If we execute this, right, so we have the result of the products. But if you are not using this to underscore date function, right, if you are not using it, you simply remove it, and if you try to execute, then you will get this error, right? Incompatible data types in combination. So creation time is of type date, but you are passing a string, so that is why it gave the error. So whenever you have to compare date, use this to underscore date function. You can use this. Now let us see that if the result which is fetched by using this flexible search, and you have to sort on some basis, say you have to fetch the result in the on the order by code. So how you can do that? So instead here you can type order by and code, right? So order by can be used with where condition, and if you don't have any where condition, then also you can use this order by. And then if you click on execute, then you can see that the result is fetched on the basis of the code in ascending order. If you have to use in the descending order, then simply type DSC after this order by code, and when you click on execute, then you can see that all the results which is now fetched is in the uh, using is sorted on the basis of this code in descending order. So till now we have seen the conditions, we have used how to use the like operator and all those. But now suppose you have a requirement wherein you have to fetch the code related to all the product, where in the name of that product we don't have say men. So how you can do that is, in the flexible search query, you have to type name en because you are looking in the English locale. Uh, and here you can type not like, right? So if you execute it, you have the result, but for those product in the description, we don't have any man name, right? So you can see here. Now suppose you want to check the overall count of the items that are present in this product table, then how you can do that? You can simply say count, right? And a star from product and remove these conditions if you want to check the overall items that are present in the product. So when you click on this execute, in the result you can see that total we have 4412 products present in this product item type. Now let us see how we can use the AND operator. So let us fetch the details of all the products, right? So here we are just fetching the code and name, where in code it should start with the say 300, and then we are putting like anything can be, any number can be used after, but if it should be start with 300 only, and the name contains mem, or say the name contains cap, right? So in any case, so for that we type lower name in en locale, and it should be that if cap is present in any case, then fetch the detail. So you can see that we have the list of all the products where code is starts with 300, and in the name we have cap. So using this, you can use the AND operator, or if you want to use the OR condition, then you can see use OR in here instead of AND, and then we'll have the result. Now let us see about the join operations. So suppose our requirement is that we have to fetch the code of this unit. So in the product table, it is in PK. The PK of this unit item type is stored in here corresponding to this code, right? Or in every product corresponding to code, you can see that the value of unit is in PK. But you want to know like what is the actual value? What is the code? Is it like grams, pieces, or kg? What is the value of this unit present in here? So for that, we have to write a query in which is in like join. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to search in this unit item type. Okay, so let's check the unit item type, and here we can see the code is present in here. The code is present in here, right? So it will be code. When you say select code from unit, so you have the code present. Now you have to do the join. So for that, what will you have to do is you have to write select code from unit as u. So u is the alias, right? So you can type as this, and then join product as p on. Then we have to write what will be the um, we have to write on what we are basically defining the join. So in the product table, we had seen the column unit where the PK of this unit is present. So we can say that whatever value is present in product table in the unit column, that we have to match with the uh, in the unit item type, whatever the value of pk is, with that we have to match. And then we have to check for the product, say for all those product, right, where p dot code starts with, say, 3000. So this is the join query, and here we are fetching the code of the product and corresponding to it the unit. And when you write this and click on execute, right, so in the search result you can see the value of the code, which is the product, and then here corresponding to it the unit. So this way we can use the join operation. Now let us see how we can write the flexible search query in the code, right? So let us take this example of default product dog, where we have to fetch the detail of the product on the basis of code provided. So here what we have done is we have first written this query. So here it is simple, it is fetching the pk. Product model.pk means it is first fetching the pk of all the product from the product, where the code is this, which is we have passed in the runtime. So whenever you have to write the code, please remember that instead of directly writing like we were writing um in the HAC, in the flexible search, that select star from product or select pk from product. So instead of simple writing pk, what I mean is that simply writing this select pk, right? Instead of writing this, always use this model. So what is the benefit of it will be? So we have, why we have to use this static constants, because uh, although we know, right, that if we write the query in this fashion, it will be difficult for sometimes for the beginners to, it will be difficult to understand the query, but it is helpful. It is helpful how? Because sometimes, say in future or any point of time, right, someone has changed anything in the item type directly, then in that case what will happen is that the value corresponding to it will get impacted, right? So at that point of time you will get a compilation error, and you can update your query easily. So always use in this fashion only. Always use, but because if you simply write select pk from code from product where code is equal to this, or suppose if you are fetching any other attribute select xyz from product, and in future someone has renamed that xyz to some other uh, value, say any other thing, at that time you will get a compilation error, and you can easily rectify in your code that thing. Otherwise in production, if that thing goes, then it will give error, and also it can lead to blocker if that particular functionality is not tested. So that is why it is recommended always to use this, always write the query in this fashion. After that, what happened is that we have passed this code, right? We want to add this in the runtime, and we have added this. We have created this flexible search query, right? So in the query we have this add query parameter, where we are passing the code and then the runtime code which is passed. After that what we are doing is, using this flexible search service, we are searching this query, and as I have told you that whenever we are searching the using the flexible search query, it is always returning the list of that particular item type. So as we are searching on product model, so it will provide result as a list of product model. So this basically the way using which we can use flexible query in the code. Now, suppose if you want, say, uh, do join, right? So this is the example where we have created a string builder, right? So all these points you know, right? Because of the performance factor, instead of the string, we have used a string builder, and it is always recommended to use a string builder in such scenarios. So here we are using we are fetching the details for the from the product, right, on the basis of some category. So we have done the join in here, and whatever the dynamic value, the runtime value of category we are passing in here. So in this scenario, what we have done is we have created as we have used this string builder. So for in that scenario, we have created a map, and in map we are passing this CAT, that is the dynamic value. So it should always be in question mark and then the value, right, in the query. So here also you can see that it is in the question mark and then the value. So that we have used, and we have mapped the runtime value with this cat. So this the value which is passed in here, that will be used in this place in the category. And similarly, we are checking that what are the subcategories of that particular category, right? And if we have any subcategories, then we are mapping that as well. So as it is the in condition, so we can pass like multiple values in here. So after comma separated, we are passing this value. So this the behavior or the fashion using which we can do write the flexible search query in the code. Now let's see a scenario where we have to disable the cache. So in the starting of the video, we have discussed that whenever we are doing a flexible search through HAC or through code, then at that time it is getting cached in the region cache, right? But suppose we have to disable the cache, right? So how we can do that? In which scenarios we have to disable the cache? So like in most of the cases, we know that behavior is the cache behavior is desirable, right? But in some cases, it is better to skip cache completely. For instance, when a query contains a frequently changing parameter, such as current time in milliseconds, or like there is something which needs to be changed, and you think that as the query is cached, so you are not getting the desired result. So in that scenario, we need that the query should not be cached, or if a query result whatever we are whenever we are like fetching the details, so if we think that the query result is really huge and it will like give impact on the cache, which is significant volume the cache. So in such scenario, we have to disable the cache. So for that, in the inside this flexible search query, right, we have this set disabling caching. So we have to set this as true whenever like before searching before hitting the search on this particular query, we have to simply use this set disable caching as true. And once we'll use it at that time, what will happen? That this particular query will not get cached. So with this, friends, we have seen how to write flexible search query in HAC and how to write it in the code. If we want to avoid the caching, then how we can do that. We have also seen the different modes of SQL operations that we can perform. Similar to SQL, like we can use join, right? We can use the count operation. So all these things we can use in here. But have you noticed, friend, that in this we have till now used only the select command, right? We haven't used update or any other command. So suppose Now, if you want to update something in this unit item type, then how you can do that? Using this flexible search, right? So I just wanted to let you know that with flexible search, it is not possible. If any other operation you want to perform apart from this select, then you can do that using the impacts. If you're not aware of impacts, then I have created a video and on the impacts where I've explained all the operations in detail. The link of that video is present in the description box. But if you want to hack, there is a hack basically in here. If you want to really update the value, then you can go to this SQL Query tab, right? And then you can write the update command in here. And instead of this rollback, you have to put it in the commit mode. So let us take the example. In the unit item type, we have code, say, take the example of this kg, and its unit type is kg. Suppose now we have to update the unit type of this kg to kilogram. Then how we can do that? So let's fetch the details. Select code, right? And here what it is, unit type. So select code, comma, unit type from unit. So we have this, right? Now let's go to the SQL query section, and here let us write the update query. In this SQL query tab section, we simply write this update unit. It is the name of the table, and then p underscore unit type is the value which we want to set instead of kg to kilogram, right? Which you are seeing here, the unit type instead of kg we want to set it as kilogram for only that row where the value of this p underscore code is kg. So for this code only, we want to set the unit type as kilogram, right? Now after that, we will change it the rollback to commit, and if we execute, so here we can see that one row is affected. Now let us search again. Select star from unit. Okay, and here you can see that corresponding to the kg code, the value of unit type is now as kilogram. So in this fashion, you can do the modifications, but using the flexible search query, you can only do the select operation. So with this, friends, in today's video, we have learned how to use flexible query in HAC. If in code we have to use the flexible search query, then how we can do that? What is the best coding practices? The SQL search query, the flexible query is at the time of execution is converted into like SQL, and then it is fetch the data from Hybris. So basically, the execution path of flexible search query, we can say it is converted into it is defined into two steps that we have seen. Right, we can nearly perform all the SQL statements operation in the flexible search examples we have seen by using the join statement, by using the count statement, to date function, the lower function, like statement, not like. So all these details we have seen, and operation, or operation, where condition, order by, all these details we have seen in the flexible search. Also, we have seen that the queries are cached in the flexible search. If we have to avoid caching, then how we can do that? As part of this video, and at the end we have seen that instead of select operation, if you want to update or modify anything, then how we can do that. So all these details we have covered in today's video. Hope you have liked the video. Please like the video, subscribe the channel, and share the video with your friends or colleagues who are interested in learning Hybris, or who are working in Hybris but wants to understand this particular topic. Then you can do so. Happy learning, friends.